So let me tell you the secret on how I'm able to produce 100 pieces of content with almost no effort. Hey, are you a B2B marketing professional or entrepreneur? We're going to talk about how to overcome the content bottleneck. I'm Dennis Yu.
I'm Jon Baer
of Market Scale, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I do using Market Scale and our content factory process to be able to get content out. So I know you guys are trying to, you're supposed to get out your podcast, your interviews, your books, whatever kind of content you're supposed to, but what are all these reasons why people can't get their content out?
Dennis, there's a million different reasons, but to be honest, there's no good reason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways that you can create content and you can syndicate it. The most important thing to remember when it comes to creating content is don't get bogged down in the details.
Yeah.
How are we filming this right now?
We're on an iPhone outside the hotel at the end of the conference. I haven't even cleaned up or anything like that, but we said, you know what? I'm going to the airport in half an hour, so let's just make a video.
100%. Yeah, no cleanup, 5 minutes of setup. Everybody's got a 4K camera phone in their pocket. It's the easiest thing in the world to make content. The most important thing is that you just have something to say.
Yeah.
And every B2B professional knows what they do, and most importantly, why they do it.
Uh-huh.
That's all you got to talk about. Why do you do what you do?
Yeah. And then if you don't know what to talk about, interview other people that know more than you about that particular topic. That's why I love going to these conferences.
I can't say I know more than Dennis Yu, but still, thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
But there's no excuse not to make the video. You don't have to have a perfect script. You don't have everything organized. You don't need a $60,000 red camera. And then other people say, yeah, but I need to have a whole team, right? It's just me. I have a very small team. I can't afford these crazy agencies and all this.
Nah, it's just dead wrong. Look, that's great. I'm not going to sit here and try to knock people who do professional creative work and do awesome, amazingly edited video content. More power to you guys. You make incredible stuff, and I applaud you for it, but you don't need it to succeed in 2024, and you're not going to need it to succeed in 2034. Let me tell you. Like, we could take this exact same interview and post it online in 10 minutes right after this. The amount of time that it takes to upload to YouTube or any of the social networks is the amount of time that it took for us to have a polished piece of content.
Think about how many amazing conversations you and I have had, you've had with other people, and you thought, dang it, I wish I just recorded that.
Yeah, I'd say one of the most common things that I'll say to our partners too is I think about the number of times this week when you've had a really amazing conversation around something that you know intimately because you are an expert. Yeah. You have years, if not decades of experience in this topic.
Yeah.
Your customers, your prospects, the members of your community want to understand what those things are. They want to know what you have to say. So why not digitize it and make it accessible to them?
So let me tell you the secret on how I'm able to produce 100 pieces of content with almost no effort. Here's step one. Record one long form video. Yesterday, I was in New York City, and I sat down and interviewed a friend of mine who cleans restaurant hoods. He's got 1,300 kitchens in his whole business, and he goes around and does that kind of stuff. And I sat down, asked him about his business. We even went to one of the restaurants where his crews come in and clean the restaurant and that kind of stuff. And that one long form video, maybe it's 40 minutes, whatever it is, can be chopped up, like John said, into many pieces. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, articles, TikToks, Instagram stories. I've got 100 pieces of content off of one piece of content. Because in one sit-down interview, how many snippets or highlights or key points do you think there are generally?
There's a ton. It's, practically every minute there's something valuable. If you've ever been the kind of person like me where you might be sitting in a lecture or a presentation and you take a lot of notes and you realize, oh shoot, I'm kind of writing down everything that they had to say. When you have experts who are talking passionately about what they do, for the most part, it's always going to be really valuable content. And if it's not going to be substantively valuable to the B2B conversation or the topic or whatever it is, then maybe it's going to be endearing content. Yeah, it's just a couple of people who are passionate about what they do having a great time. And those are the kinds of authentic things that resonate with me.
And we were just the last 2 hours with the folks at University of Texas, Arlington.
100%.
And there were, how many stories did we talk about? None of that was recorded.
None.
Those are all amazing.
None. We should have slapped some mics on.
Yeah, we could have had the same conversation that we had with them. And then there's the camera there who's basically like another person is the way I view it. There's a Cyclops 3-eyed person when I see the iPhone. And then in that 2 hour long conversation, how many stories were there? 20, 30, 50 stories, a lot of stories, right?
Can't even count them, but they were all great. Yeah, we're engaged in that conversation the entire time, and it's the kind of stuff that people are interested in.
And that's authentic, and it's just fun, and it's not scripted. So let's just say, on the conservative side, there were 20 stories out of that one conversation.
It's called 20.
How much effort is it to be able to take that one long raw recorded video and turn it into a bunch of like tweets and LinkedIn posts and blog posts and Facebooks and whatever? Like how hard is it to do that? Let's say we cover like 6 social networks. Let's say 5 social networks, 4 social networks plus the blog times 20 pieces of content is 100 pieces of content.
Yep.
How much effort is that?
I guess it depends on how hard you want to make it.
But generally,
you can try to sit down and do it, but there's so many tools you can use these days.
But using like a market scale or a Descript or an Opus clip, or if you don't even want to use these tools, you can just pay for some service or Upwork or Fiverr. You're now looking at spending $100, $200, and you have all these pieces already edited, already with bumpers and captions and whatever it is that you want to have done.
Absolutely. It's all of those pieces of content for that very minimal price point, or if you are subscribed to a platform
like Market Scale,
like Market Scale, and basically
Market Scale does this all for us, and we pay one price per month, one low price, unlimited.
It's the easiest hack in the world when you talk about processing content. It's the second of your 4-step strategy.
That's right.
You want to process this content in a scalable way, so that you're able to take advantage of it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
In time, all of a sudden, that content's long-term value and return is going to dwarf the amount of money that you spent on it, particularly when you multiply it 100-fold.
Because you're using those hits over and over again. And if you take a great story, a great piece of authority, maybe you interviewing a customer, something that creates value for you and your audience, and it's there in multiple places, that's multiplying value. You're running ads against it, so it lives forever. You're multiplying that value again. Now, that conversation, which initially only 3 or 4 people were part of, now thousands of people can see it. If we do $1 a day against it, now another 100 people can see that every day. 100 of the people that you want to see in that particular niche that you serve. My entire career has been built on doing this very technique. As we said, step 1, a long form piece of content that you can chop up into step 2, repurposed into lots of other pieces of content. Step 3, to be posted across multiple places. Because, people hang out on YouTube, they hang out on LinkedIn, or, you've been consuming my content and, wherever your flavor. I think you said like LinkedIn, you saw some of my stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And other people, like young adults, they watch me on TikTok. That's fine, right? That's step 3. And then step 4 is promote. When you have 20 stories that are posted to 5 different networks, now you've got 100 pieces of content, and you run $1 a day against the best performers, and you're spending only $7 to $10 to test each piece of content. You don't have to put it against every 20. If you did on all 20, you would spend 20 times $740 to be able to test. Is it worth it to spend $140 to test what pieces, you and I might think, well, of the 20 stories, I think it was this one and this one that was the most interesting. And we might be completely wrong.
Yeah,
it might have been this one, and this are the ones that like people really resonate, engage with, and comment on for whatever. And in hindsight, like, oh yeah, it was because. But in hindsight, right? Let the data tell.
100%. Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, but the scientific method exists for a reason. You have a hypothesis. You think that content piece, media piece, 1 out of 20 is going to perform the best.
Yeah.
Test it. Just test it. And I mean, the amount of money that you're talking about here is literally less than most Americans probably pay for subscriptions to content platforms like a Netflix.
Yeah.
It is virtually immaterial for a business that needs to be able to succeed and scale. Reframe your thinking in this way and be committed to testing what's going to work best. Because as soon as you know what works best, then you have the recipe. The best chefs in the world repeat the recipe over and over and over again until the point when they can absolutely deliver on it every single time.
And that's what you want with your content efforts. It's just like habits, going to go work out of the gym. So here, Jon and I are doing an interview, or call it a podcast. We call my thing the Coach You Show, but we can take whatever it is in whatever context. And then because the market scale team is chopping it up into different pieces and transcribing it and figuring out like what the different stories are along the way. For example, how we're showing this 4-stage process, right? Now, the burden on me or Jon to be able to edit these videos and like all this like processing and tuning and posting and scheduling, like none of that is on us. So all we had to do was sit down just for a few minutes, put my cell phone on a $18 Atomtech tripod, hit record, and then after that, I go to the airport. I don't even do anything. Why? Because when the phone's connected to Wi-Fi, it automatically uploads everything to the cloud, and our team sees like, oh, there's new folders, there's new videos inside this thing. So it's automatically uploaded to my Apple iCloud. So it has it on my thing, and I do the Apple Pro 1 thing, which is an extra $30 a month. So I get the 4 terabytes of storage. I pay, what is it, like $10 a month for the Google Photo storage for the cloud. Like and then I share that with the team email addresses so everyone can see. Because Google already has all my stuff by who is Jon, it's in Dallas, or we're talking about this, or we're eating steak, or whatever it might be. All of that stuff is automatically like, there's different people I like to make content with. So if I make a lot of content with Jon, it's automatically organizing all the videos I made with Jon into one bucket.
100%.
Right? All the ones in Dallas are automatically in their own bucket. All that processing is done by the AI, right? I literally haven't, once Jon and I are done, we're going to take the microphones off and I'll go off to the airport. I do nothing.
Nothing at all.
Because our video VAs or the market scale team and these other folks, they can watch the video. They can see that's Jon Baer. They can see we're talking about market scale. They can see the other content we have about market scale already. We have a whole SOP on how we do this. They already have the context. The context of what to do is already embedded in the nature of this content itself. Because the most painful thing I see of entrepreneurs and heads of whatever is that they need to like explain what the video is and give feedback along the way, and like worse, edit it themselves and try to post it. I never, call me lazy or whatever. Oh, Dennis is a big team. No. We have VAs that do this. We have a clear process. We have a platform like Market Scale that helps us move these things along so it lives in multiple places. And then the burden is eliminated. So the only burden on me, which is not even a burden, is I get to hang out with people like Jon Baer.
Man, you said it. It's like when you know that the technology and the tools are working well for you, it's when you just get to do what you love and you get to have some fun. Yeah, our CEO is really fond of saying if our partners are having fun while we're also having fun, then we know we're doing great business.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're winning because we're able to have a great conversation and then leave the technical components, the processing to the tools and, the expertise that's really, really good at that, more power to it. We all just get to have some fun.
And I get to hang out with really cool people instead of doing all this administrative drudgery work. Like you can see that building behind us that just turned green is the Bank of America building. And what is it? You're the 57th floor or
53rd floor Bank of America.
Like way up on the tallest building here in Dallas. And I don't know if you can see right behind, there's that red Pegasus, which is like the symbol of downtown Dallas.
Sure is.
It's on the Magnolia, which maybe you can see over there. But we're literally here making these videos. The AI and Google and Amazon and Facebook and all that are picking up that's a Pegasus, are picking up from the metadata of the video, because it's all stored on the phone automatically, like where it is and who's talking and all that. Now the AI is doing this work. I would challenge you as an entrepreneur, as a leader who has limited time and doesn't want to waste a ton of money or get caught in all this administrative mess, to consider how easy this is. Jon, how would we summarize this for people?
Dead simple. You know more about your business, about your industry, than just about anybody else. You have the tools already at your disposal, a 4K camera phone in your pocket, to be able to capture it. AI processing tools are available ad nauseum. MarketScale is a great one. You've listed a couple of others like Descript. Obviously, we know all about large language models with ChatGPT and whatnot. Use those tools to process your digital expertise, and then just get really, really consistent posting the heck out of it.
Yep.
And then leverage strategies like Dennis's to be able to promote the holy heck out of it. And you begin the flywheel effect. Because as soon as you start promoting the holy heck out of that content at scale, you're going to see that you're going to have folks inbound into the first part of this process. You can have more conversations that you process into more sound bites and media. You can post more and you can promote more and you have more conversations, and it goes on ad nauseum and ad infinitum.
But all it takes is just a few videos. If you make a few videos, get the AI or whatever, your VA, to pull out these highlights, you're going to find these things we call greatest hits. Maybe someone has a one-liner, a zinger, right?
Yep.
And that just seems to work, or a story that really resonates. Then you don't have to keep creating more content every single week. But you've got to get that initial library of content going. So another part of my kind of shortcut is, I'm going to say shortcut because it assumes we're like skipping things somehow. But earlier, we did 2 45-minute keynote sessions, right? So Jon Baer and I both spoke on stage together in a 90-minute, well, 2 45-minute things. So 90 minutes. And how much content did we create? A ton. Told tons of stories. That's like a bunch of webinars together, right?
Just before we sat down here, I was looking at a 59-minute and 59-second recording on my phone. I'm very much looking forward to just getting that thing parsed out with zero effort from myself.
With zero effort. How much content would you create if you knew that it was zero effort on you to be able to process it, edit it, and post it and all that kind of stuff? Using AI tools and processes and other platforms, right? People, process, platform. We can put those three together. Now, this video, the 90 minutes of stuff that we did earlier, we have produced easily 200 pieces of content.
Absolutely.
And how much effort was it?
Well, I mean, if
For
you're
us.
talking about an afternoon's work and you get 200 pieces of content out of it, you've just populated a social calendar for an entire year.
Yeah.
100%.
Not only for a year, I guarantee you of these 200 pieces of content, maybe like 5 or 10 of them will do well.
Yeah.
But when they do well, they really do well. And I'll put $1 a day against it on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. It'll help my Google rankings. And it creates this flywheel effect that Jon's talking about. So I'd encourage you, if you find that this maybe feels like too much because there's so many different components, start small. Hire someone on Upwork to follow our 4-stage content factory process. You can email Stephanie@blitzmetrics.com to get a copy of this 280-page guide on exactly how we do it, step by step. It's literally the training that we use on how to do this. You could look up Jon at MarketScale, who used to run analytics, but now is in charge of half the customer base at MarketScale, full of all these B2B experts that are sharing their expertise. You might look at these huge companies like Bose and whatever and say that they're too big for me. But it's about using the platform in the right way. You might think, I can't afford it. If you can afford a few $1,000s a month, you'd be surprised it was actually possible. I can't do it like Dennis. Dennis is probably spending tons of money. I'm actually not, right? This is very affordable because we have a lot of efficiency in how we produce content.
You said it. Yeah, if there's one broad takeaway that I could leave for the audience who's watching this, don't be intimidated by the fire hose that is looking at the influencers of the world with millions and millions of subscribers. Like, one of the big ones that comes to mind is a Mr. Beast. Yeah, I've heard through the grapevine, this is a person who spends well over $1 million on every single video that he puts out.
Even the cash he's giving.
Yeah, and that's incredible. More power to it. But that's not the average Joe, right? That's not even the average business person. That's not realistic for most people.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid by the fire hose. The best thing you can do is start.
That's right.
The biggest enemy to your success is doing nothing. So just start. You'll learn, and more importantly, you'll achieve results. But you can't if you don't start.
Just like you want to run that marathon, can you walk a mile? Don't worry about your hair. Don't worry about how you sound. Don't worry about how tired you are. I didn't get to sleep last night because my flight got delayed and I didn't get until 4:45 a.m. this morning.
You're a champ.
But we still did it, right?
Yeah.
I'm too tired. Let's do it tomorrow, Jon. I'm tired.
Yeah. Dennis, the sun has set
I didn't get the
on
shower
us during
yet.
this podcast.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's windy out here. I'm not prepared. My flight leaves in 1 hour. We can't do it right now. My shoes aren't shined. I'm telling you guys, it's like Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
And I want to see your results. I want you to tell Jon and I on whatever channel you're seeing this, how this has impacted you. And so that you actually implement, I want you to type below, I'm implementing. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to do something about this. and then we can hold you accountable. So I'm Dennis Yu of Blitz Metrics. I invented this 4-stage content factory process. This is my buddy Jon Baer, market scale. And I want to see you leveraging the content factory. This is the Coach U Show. Thank you guys.